Hey, what's happening, guys? How are you doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel, and today, while I am a couple of days late to this story, there is a pretty interesting rumor going around out there around Metroid Prime 4, and obviously, I want to talk about it. So essentially, this story and this rumor, quote-unquote, we're going to call it a rumor, even though I don't know if I really would classify it as that. It actually has to do with a survey that was sent out by Nintendo of UK, and this survey was asking people who have played or purchased Metroid Prime Remastered a lot of different questions about the game and their feeling on it, their interest on it, why they maybe chose to purchase it, and this survey vaguely references and mentions Metroid Prime 4, which I guess is notable in a way. And because of that, a lot of folks have ran with this concept and this question as potentially some kind of hint or tease or rumor surrounding an imminent release of Metroid Prime 4. I don't know that it's exactly what it seems on the surface and what people are painting it as, and so that's really one of the main reasons I wanted to kind of talk about this today. Of course, with the release of Metroid Prime Remastered, the Metroid buzz is like at an all-time high, almost. In some ways, it kind of felt, at least for a few weeks there, it felt like the buzz around Metroid Prime Remastered might have even been stronger than the buzz around Metroid Dread. There's obviously a significant difference because Dread was a new game, Prime Remastered is a remastered/remade version of a classic famous game. Also, Metroid Dread didn't have the shadow drop scenario, right? It was revealed and marketed within a typical marketing cycle, right? Revealed in June, 4 months of marketing and hype and trailers and anticipation before the game finally came out to rave reviews in October of that year. And Metroid Prime Remastered was in a different scenario where, you know, that was rumored for years, and then to see it actually confirmed as real and looking even better than we expected, then to see that it was shadow dropped the day that it was announced, created this massive, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 week buzz and excitement around that game and experiencing it and people sharing their thoughts and what the graphics looked like. And then there was the hype around trying to get hands on physical copies a few weeks later. And it was just a different kind of shortened, very condensed version of crazy hype and buzz with Metroid Prime Remastered. And to be fair, we're really on the other side of it because it's been, you know, almost 2 months, I think, at this point, right? And so most people have played it who wanted to play it. And of course, with us kind of on the other side of the initial buzz and excitement around Metroid Prime Remastered, we've all started to shift our attentions to Metroid Prime 4. In fact, I was even discussing it on my channel probably within, I think, a few days of the release of Metroid Prime Remastered on the eShop. And so it's an exciting time because between the combination of Metroid Dread in 2021 and Prime Remastered this year, it's got everyone excited for what's going to happen, and I love seeing the world focused and excited about the Metroid franchise again. And so Metroid Prime 4, we all know, is the one confirmed Metroid game we know is being made. It's been a mystery for 6 years. It got restarted and rebooted with Retro Studios in 2019, 4 years ago, and we're still waiting on confirmed information and something real from Nintendo about it, which brings us to this situation around this Nintendo UK survey that was sent out that referenced Metroid Prime 4 and got people pretty excited. And while I appreciate the excitement, and I guess there's a small part of me that thinks this is kind of cool, I kind of wanted to make this video discussing why I don't know if it's quite what people are painting it to be. So as far as I can see, this really started and was shared to the world through a tweet by someone named Benji Kong here on Twitter. And they basically referenced Nintendo UK's survey around Metroid Prime Remastered, and they circled the question in question that got a lot of people talking here and that I'm discussing here. And I think it was, the question might have been phrased, why did you purchase the game? Why were you excited about it? What made you interested? And you can see the options. Many people were talking and getting excited about it. I'm a huge Metroid fan and get all the games. It received good reviews. Or another option is the circled one. It seems like a good way to pass the time until Metroid Prime 4 releases. Now, I like seeing this answer for sure in this survey. It's not like I think this is dumb. It's very cool to see it here and see Nintendo reference it in a way. But I think that this has kind of been spun as something that it really isn't, in my opinion. And it's been spun as Nintendo finally talked about Metroid Prime 4 again. They've confirmed the game is still real and still in development. This is a big deal. Now we know the game wasn't canceled. I mean, there's a couple of different spins and conversations some folks have had around it, but that's one of the biggest one, is that people were literally spinning this as maybe Prime 4 was canceled, but now we know it's not because Nintendo confirmed it's going to release. It says until Metroid Prime 4 releases. So we can all breathe a sigh of relief. Metroid Prime 4 is still being made. And look, man, I don't want to squash anyone's excitement around Metroid Prime 4. I'm obviously not in the business of doing that. As a Metroid fan, it doesn't have anything to do with my YouTube channel. As a Metroid fan, I just want people excited about my favorite franchise and this incredible game we know is being developed. But I gotta be real. I don't understand anyone who truly, in their heart of hearts, has actually believed that Metroid Prime 4 was maybe canceled behind the scenes without our knowledge, and they needed this silly question on this silly survey to confirm to them that Nintendo was still making this game. Obviously, they are still making Metroid Prime 4. In some ways, it paints a kind of frustrating picture around Nintendo's silence around the game, so there's an element that I do want to state that I kind of understand only from the perspective of how long this game has been a mystery. It's a little silly because I think people still forget that essentially the first 2 years of our knowledge of this game is wiped out. So yes, it was announced 6 years ago, but the version of Metroid Prime 4 that we will eventually play is not a version that began development in 2017. It essentially is a new game that started in 2019. And sure, 4 years is still a pretty long time, but it's not as long as 6 years. And so we kind of need to consider the first 2 years as a complete wash. 2017, 2018, and the first 6 months of 2019, in my opinion, they're just a wash. This game started in 2019, okay? That's the way I look at it. So, yes, 4 years, it's still frustrating to have the game still be so silent, and so I can understand why some people feel like anything like this little survey question actually means something. But I think if we stop and take a step back and look at the situation, I don't really think that this is all that surprising that they included this answer on this survey. One thing we have to mention is that Nintendo themselves acknowledged it back in 2021 anyway. Right before Metroid Dread was revealed at E3 2021, they literally said, "Don't worry, we're still working away at Metroid Prime 4 and we'll show you that when we're ready, but until then, take a look at this." And then they blew our balls off by showing us Metroid Dread, right? And so it was less than 2 years ago that Nintendo, with their words on camera in a Nintendo Direct at E3, said, "We're still making Metroid Prime 4. So I think that alone reduces the impact of this question actually meaning anything significant. And then beyond that, I just go to what I kind of think is the logical and obvious answer here, which is that there's no reason to think Nintendo would have canceled this game. And even in a crazy, insane world where this game might have been canceled behind the scenes, I think Nintendo would have told us pretty soon, right? I mean, even if they just did it through a press release, they would know that it's important to let everyone know that this game would have been canceled. They were willing to come on camera and make a special, like, 2-minute video just telling us that Metroid Prime 4 was rebooted with Retro Studios. So you'd better believe they'd find a way to officially get out an announcement that the game would have been canceled behind the scenes. And so it just kind of adds to the general, I think, sentiment I'm trying to get across in this video, is that sure, it's nice to see this answer on this survey, but I don't think that there's any reason to have believed that the game was canceled until seeing this response. In my opinion, when I read this response on this survey here, all it tells me is that it's just confirming something I already knew and believed. Metroid Prime 4 is being made, and Metroid Prime 4 will come out in the future. They don't even hint at a timeline, and I think a lot of people have also allowed themselves to get excited thinking that this, again, being included in a survey answer means that the game is right around the corner. Now, obviously, if you've been following my conversations, you already know that I think there is a great chance, if not almost a guarantee, we will see Metroid Prime 4 before the year is over. And even a sliver of a chance we do play it. It could be this big secret holiday game that they're waiting to reveal to us after Tears of the Kingdom comes out. I think that is a possibility. More than likely, I think we're just going to see the first trailer and hopefully like a confirmation of a release window this year. But this, to me, I don't think is adding or taking away from any of my personal feelings about the release timing of the game or the development of the game. We knew that this game was being developed. They have to deliver the goods on Metroid Prime 4. Tracking the history from the reveal to the delay in the reboot and the mystery since, Retro Studios updating their Twitter banner last year, I do personally believe that that was a significant choice. I think some people gloss over that sometime, but I actually believe that that was a pretty good positive sign in my opinion. And so, again, I don't want to poo-poo anyone getting excited about seeing anything about Metroid Prime 4, but I think some folks could benefit from cooling their jets a little bit. Like, it's just a survey about a recently released Metroid game. Nintendo probably assumed everyone already understood Metroid Prime 4 is being developed, so of course they included this in an answer. I don't think they expected anyone to run with this as some major confirmation about anything. It's just an obvious thing to include because to Nintendo, they're like, well, obviously we're making Prime 4. The world knows we're making Prime 4. No one should have a reason to think we're not making Prime 4. And so, why not include it as one of the options? That's just, at this point, I'm kind of beating a dead horse. I don't really know if there's anything new I can add to the conversation at this point in this video. To me, it's like, yes, Metroid Prime 4 is being made, so maybe this is your answer to this question. Ultimately, I just found this kind of a funny situation and something kind of interesting, right? It has some folks talking about Metroid Prime 4 again. It has some people finding reasons to get excited about the game. And again, I know I was very kind of stern in my belief that this doesn't mean anything in this video, but I don't really want people to not be excited about the game. Everybody wins when people are excited about Metroid and talking about Metroid. So I'm glad in a way that it started a conversation, but I just wanted to add my 2 cents here as, you know, one of the biggest Metroid fans in the world, and with a YouTube channel that's like half dedicated to just the Metroid franchise, that I don't think this adds anything to the conversation in a meaningful way, even though I found a way to make a 15-minute video probably about this. I don't think it's adding too much, and so I think everyone can just relax and be excited for Metroid Prime 4 simply because we know it's being made. I believe we will see it before 2023 is over, and I don't think this question means anything real, so let's just wait and see what happens as the year continues to play out.